How are you, brother?
Good, my man. Good, bro. It's early. Huh? I didn't realize it was going to be that early for
Like,
you. Huh?
hey, listen, you know what? I full sacked it. I was like, there's no chance I'm getting up at 4 a.m. for you. But you know what, brother? I love you. I love you. Clearly, clearly.
Bro, appreciate it.
How was your day?
Yeah, it's all right. We've been a bit cruisy so far. So we just got training this afternoon and stuff. All good, bro.
Where you guys with where you at with your prep right now? So how's a week of training look like?
Yeah, well, so there's a few boys that were in here like from beginning of May because their season's finished, but I didn't get in until the 25th of May, I think it was, because my season finished that weekend.
Yeah.
And then we basically it was like tapering off the hard training then because we had a friendly match that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just had another week training where it was like a bit tapered off because we played 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now we had recovery yesterday. We're training today. Tomorrow's a day off. And then train Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, game Saturday.
That's pretty hectic, eh?
Yeah, man. It's full on, bro. And then all this media stuff as well in between. So
And now you're stuck here with me. But hey, listen, honestly, congratulations, your fourth World Cup. Uh, when you hear that, what's it feel like?
I mean, always you don't, or you know how it goes with a career, right? Like it goes so quick, and there's always something new around the corner to achieve, and you kind of get caught up, I guess, chasing it, or you don't really have a lot of time to reflect, you know. So yeah, when you're sitting there and you're saying, yeah, my fourth World Cup, and like I've actually got to kind of acknowledge the fact yeah, I mean, it's crazy, huh? Like obviously super proud, and I guess it's testament to how I've been able to be consistent in performing at a level that warrants those rewards, you know, and obviously for such a long time with the World Cup being every 4 years, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to obviously embrace it and trying to make it the best one yet.
Your first World Cup was in Brazil, right?
Yeah, man.
What was that
Brazil.
experience like? I need to know.
That was my biggest learning curve in my career, I reckon, until now. I was very raw, very young, bro. That boy from Western Sydney. um, I'd only played 3 years in the A League and 1 year in Belgium, and all of a sudden I was going into the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, you know, and of course you're there and young and naive, and you know thinking like, oh, I can come here and I want to, play the house down and, be keeper of the tournament and all these things. And at the same time, I'm thinking, like, fucking hell, I'm playing against, I can curse on this, can't I?
Yeah,
Or
of
not?
course you can. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Be natural. Be natural, brother.
Yeah. And, and then, yeah, like I was like, fucking hell, I'm coming across, Robin Van Persie in the flesh, Arjen Robben, because we had Holland in our group. And then
Wow.
Spain, you're playing fucking Fernando Torres and Juan Mata and, Alexis Sanchez and, Arturo Vidal, for Chile. And all of a sudden, I realized I'd probably developed not probably, but I did develop the wrong mindset. And I was kind of being a little bit too respectful towards who we were
Mm.
coming up against. These were guys that I used to play FIFA with and all these things, and all the media, they're saying like, Ian Robin, the best left winger in the world, and all these things. And I'm getting into the mindset. It's like, wow, playing this guy, fuck, how am I going to stop him? I need to
Mm.
become Superman or do this or do that. And I think in hindsight, what I learned from that was I just needed to go in and tap into the things that I had been doing naturally to get myself into those scenarios, to have that opportunity. Because, like I said, I was thinking that I needed to change and become something that I wasn't, and in the end, I didn't perform as well as you know, wanted to, and the expectations I fell short of my own expectations, and so I think that was the biggest learning curve I took from that to obviously want to be doing well at that level, at the highest level, into the future. So
So would you say that's what's changed the most, like being more ruthless and not worrying about who wears that opposite jersey? Like, yes, they might have a big name globally, but end of the day, you're there to play 90 minutes and to get a result. Like, it wasn't like. Would you say
yeah,
that's changed the most?
yeah, like I said, my experiences there, I think, set the foundation for what
Mm.
was then about to, unfold in my career after that. Because, like I realized, if I can, you get to the highest level, at the end of the day, everyone is human, and you put the opposition under, pressure, and you put them in difficult circumstances and scenarios and all these types of things. And, they struggle just as much as what you and I do, and like I said, they're human. You know, they're not these
Godlike
made out,
characters.
yeah, godlike, the hysteria, the media hysteria gives them and all these types of stuff. Like, of course, when they do something great, obviously they're having the careers they're having because more often than not they produce. But only in your head, all you're thinking of is like every time Arjen Robben comes on goal, he scores, and it's like, well, no, that's what gets highlighted because he does it frequently. But fuck, if I have the game of my life, I can stop him for 90 minutes, and then it'll be, I fucking done my job, and I think that's, like I said, that set the foundation for me moving forward. That everyone is human, and they all have difficulties, and you just got to make sure you're fucking on your game, and you got your mentality is where it needs to be in order to allow your physicality and your tactics and your skill and your technique and all that to come into have its effect on a game. First, you need to have that mentality right. That basically the last thing I say before I go on the football pitch these days, and trying to keep it as simple as possible, because obviously we work all week and on these details and all that. But when I'm going out on the football pitch, I want to keep it simple. And so the last thing I go out onto the pitch saying is that, ain't no C word scoring against me today.
I
You know?
love that shit. And that's
And
why
so I'm like,
that's why you're the captain, brother. That is why you're the captain. And I love that shit.
but yeah, man, like honestly, that's what I find as worked for me, and I know everyone is different, but like I say, if I'm going out on the pitch, if obviously you got all these techniques in how you should stop a ball, but with the pace at which the ball comes and how they float and move all over the place and all that, mate, if I'm stopping the ball with my face, with my ass, with my, with my toe, with my nose, whatever it fucking is, if I'm keeping the ball out the back of the net, I'm doing my job.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
basically, like I say, I go out there, no matter who it is I'm coming up against, ain't no fucker scoring against me today. That's the only kind of thought I go out there with. And then
yeah.
I just go and let my instincts take over. I don't want to think. I've done the work. I trust the work that I've done. And I go out there and just fucking let my instincts take over and do their thing.
What would you say the last 3 World Cups is your career highlight moment? A moment that you look back on and you get goosebumps every time.
It has to be the Qatar World Cup where, we had done what no other Socceroos team had done.
I
Like
remember that.
we had got 2 clean sheets in the 2 group games there, and we won 2 of those games. Which, I think the only other time we'd got through, I think we had 1 win, 1 draw, and a loss. Um, and making the round of 16 in a tournament like that, you know how it is, bro. The more success you have, like the greater the challenge, the bigger the challenge, the greater the triumph. And so round 16 of a FIFA World Cup, round of 32 of the FIFA World Cup, the knockout stages. Yeah, the most success we've had at a World Cup. So for me, that's easily, the best memory that we've had. We beat Denmark. Matt Leckie scored that goal, and we went on to win that game and fucking qualify for the next round. And then the feeling of ecstasy after that. It's something that words can't describe. That feeling, and when it all comes together, and yeah, as a team, you sit down at the beginning of a tournament or season or whatever, and you plan and you hope for all this to work out successfully, and you get there, and then you achieve that. There's no better feeling. So reaching the knockout stages was definitely that, but at the same time, it was a shame we didn't go even further and were able to progress against Argentina.
I feel like us Aussies always have that underdog mentality. Do you find that opposing teams don't respect the Socceroos?
Um, I mean, even talking with teammates like in my club teams over in Europe and all that, they just, I don't think they give us the respect that we deserve, and I think that works in our favor. In our
100.
favor, um, and of course, you got to take advantage of fucking any little advantage that you can get. So, if we're approaching games and these teams are not giving us the respect that we deserve, then we're fucking going to make them pay for it. So. Um, Mate, being an Australian footballer playing in Europe with the amount of travel that we have to fucking do and all this type of stuff, for these international breaks, for everything, for that, and then to be looked down on a nation in thinking that these guys don't know how to play, football and all these types of things. Like, you know, you gotta. I think that's what unites us as a playing group as well. It's kind of our foundation to have that hardship, and like I said, take advantage of all that. Because like when we're in scenarios in games, we're in difficulties and all that. The fact that we have to deal with jet lag and all this travel and like teammates in Europe, they complain when they got to fly 2 hours, to fucking play a game and all this, and we're flying 24 plus and all these things, and it builds our backbone, if you know what I mean. And
100,
then
yeah.
it's like those types of players when they're, for example, you play them in a match and then you tackle them strongly twice, and all of a sudden they start complaining to the referee or fucking to their teammates, and they're not up for it because they're weaker in that sense, and yeah, like I said, you got to tap into those strengths that we have, and I think that grit and the willingness to fucking work for one another and be united in that, key characteristics that we have, and we obviously try and call upon them to fucking take it to whoever we're coming up against. I think if the football world thinks of Australia as a team, they know that they're going to be coming up against a team that's not going to stop fucking fighting, dogging it, roughing it and all that to compete, and leave it all out on the pitch. So
I think that's why we love the Socceroos so much, because we have that dog mentality. And you know what? This leads me into my next question. Landon Donovan came out and recently said, he pretty much bagged the coach, told the coach he's a smug and to get back on the plane, on the Qantas plane back to Australia. Did you say that? And what's your honest reaction if you did?
I mean, I haven't exactly seen that one, but I've heard that there's been some Americans, fucking saying comments like that and all this. And to be honest, I just have a chuckle to myself, because actions speak louder than words, and I always try and let my football do the talking. So I guess everything else is irrelevant at the end of the day. When you come to the game and at the final whistle, whatever the result is, that's gonna fucking, that's gonna be the biggest blow for whoever is on the wrong end of that result. And I'm not gonna fucking. I've never been one to really talk much chop or anything like that. Like I said, I'd rather just be focused on going out there and fucking delivering. And if something needs to be kind of said or done on the pitch in the game or something like that, of course we don't fucking back down. But in the meantime, kind of just let them do all the talking. And yeah, more often than not, you probably you see that someone that kind of talks a big game and all that and whatnot, they don't always deliver. So we're just trying to go about our approach to the game and be prepared and be ready to take it to the opposition that we're going to face, being first and foremost Turkey.
Going to the USA, stay on the topic, is there a genuine belief you can beat the host nation?
Fucking oath there is. I've learned through my own career, anyone is fucking beatable. If we have the game of our lives, we can fucking beat anyone. And so the trick is to make sure you have the game of your life every single game. And we know at this level, the highest level, you can do everything right. You can fucking try give the best game of your life, and because the competition is so fierce, things still don't work out. But at least at the end of the day, I'll take peace of mind in that I can look myself in the mirror, knowing that I prepared and did everything I could to give myself and ourselves the best opportunity to fucking play our best game and try and win. Then I can live with whatever the outcome is. And I think that's an example of like outcome-based thinking and all this and whatnot is not the approach to take, because if you take that approach, every time you don't get a result, you'd be chopping and changing and you wouldn't have any core principles and all these types of things. And I think, successful people and teams, it's very rarely a whole team goes through, as an invincible and undefeated and all this. Only the fucking great Arsenal can do that.
That's my man. That's my man right
yeah,
there.
we've got to give him a shout out. We've got to give him a shout out, the
100%.
Invincibles. But and like I said, I think also a big thing of success is managing difficult moments. So when you have a loss and all these types of things, it's not all of a sudden thinking that we're shit and we're not good enough and we've got to change everything. It's like, okay, what did we learn? What can we take from it? If I can stick to what works for us or what has been working, take in the lessons that we did, and now make sure we come out the next game even fucking stronger to,
Yep.
and have confidence that we can deliver winning results. I mean, yeah, you look at fucking, I guess the most recent fucking example, maybe Penrith Panthers. They went out and got beat by the Bulldogs, and now they've just fucking carried on where they left off. And I don't think they've gone and changed their fucking
Processes.
approaches or processes or principles or nothing. And so, like I said, you got to deal and manage those difficult moments and stick to your guns and stick to what you know. Have the open mind that you learn and improve from every experience, and yeah, believe in what you're doing. And like I said, belief is the most important thing. You got to believe that you can fucking win. Otherwise, you fail at the first hurdle. Because if you don't believe yourself, then how the fuck is anyone else going to believe?
100%. I think out of all the teams in the competition that we would love to see you guys beat, it's the USA. So Landon Donovan, thank you so much for that freezing cold take. We'll take that ammo and, oh, brother, I can't wait for that game. You got no idea. I can't wait for that game. Oh, anyway, I'm sure you can as well. Tell me about your honest reaction when you saw you guys draw Turkey, obviously the USA and Paraguay. What did you think about that group?
I've never really been one to look at it and be like, wow, or,
Okay.
when I was younger, perhaps, yeah. But what I've learned is, I take this steely type approach that we can beat anyone. Because as I touched on, I've learned in the past the hard way that if you think that you're below or beneath somebody or whatever, then fuck, you're already failing. And
It's
so,
true.
like I said, I looked at the group come out and I was like, all right, that's the challenges that we're faced with. Fucking when the time comes, we'll fucking lock in and we'll get ready for them, and we'll fucking do what we do to go and beat them and have our best campaign ever. So that was pretty much my only thoughts if I had any, because I was just focused on what I was doing at my club. And like I said here, I'm confident that we can beat anyone. I mean, in Qatar, we progressed through to the knockout stage, having France, Tunisia, and Denmark. So, like I said, I've learned time and time again through our own experiences, and the boys in here now, learning against our recent games against Switzerland the other day, where they're ranked in the top 20 teams,
Yeah,
and we
great
come back and
side.
got a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come back and got a draw, and we could have even won. And even Mexico, I know we lost the game, but the first half was I think we lacked a little bit of that belief, but then we kind of rectified that at a half time, or even there was a drinks break before half time at the 30th minute mark. And from that moment on, where we got together as a group and we're like, fucking hell, we're better than that. Like, fucking hell, believe a bit more, fucking stick to what we know works and all these things. And from that moment on, we really took it to Mexico. And, I think we could have even won that game as well. So I think it's important for the guys that have not been to World Cups or been to a few and have less experience, that you constantly get those reminders that we fucking belong here and that we can fucking win at this level. And I think in those experiences we had in these two recent games, boys are seen and believe in more. And now the key thing is that everything comes together for this first game against Turkey, come the weekend.
I'm getting a sense that belief is a key value in the team's kind of structure. Like, is it coming from yourself? Is it coming from the coach, Popovich? Like, where's this coming from? Like, who's reinforcing it into the group? Because you do have a very young group. Like, is that true?
Yeah, it is. We've got a mix of experience and youth. But yeah, those messages are driven in. Like, obviously, Tony, he played at the highest level for a long time, national team and clubland in the Premier League and everywhere else. And so I'm sure he learned the same lessons that I've learned in my career. In that is, it's one of those non-negotiables. If you don't have your mentality and your mindset right against the opposition you're coming up against, yeah, you're not gonna, you're not gonna triumph over them. It's simple as that.
True.
If you don't believe, you're gonna be doubting yourself in fucking scenarios and in moments within the game and all this, and the opposition's going to get the upper hand and the advantage, and they're going to punish you for it and all this. So, yeah, of course, there's a difference between you can't be obviously overconfident and then arrogant and then not respect the opposition enough that you think it's just going to be easy and nonchalant and all this type of stuff. Like, that's too far that way. But if you respect them too much and you give them too much time on the ball, or we're playing, Messi or Ronaldo, and there's this player and da da da. Of course you got to get up, you got to get in their face and be aggressive and all this. And if you get too aggressive and all that, they can skip past you with their skill set. If you sit off them and give them time to get their head up, or pick up their speed dribbling at you and all this types of stuff, then you're going to get punished also. So you got to find that happy medium in there where you're not fearing the guy you're coming up against, And of course, those players can still dribble past you or have a successful moment against you. But like I said, that's another example where you've got to manage that difficulty in order to still back yourself in that moment. And okay, maybe you didn't do well in one action, but you know the next one you're fucking gonna do better because you learned whatever you did, and you take it to them, and then you tackle them the next 5 times when you're in that scenario, as an example. So like I said, they're all human, as we've spoken about already, and yeah, we're trying to really drive that message in because that's the reality. And I found out the hard way that I got caught up in that fucking
Deer in headlights.
in that space where they're like, they're superhuman and all these types of things, whereas it's not the case.
Yeah.
So if I can help fucking the young guys here and guys here that can learn from the mistakes that I made rather than them having to make the mistakes themselves, that can only accelerate their learning and therefore help us improve as a team even quicker. And so that's where I'm coming from when I try and, I guess, storytell and all that with our guys in here, and try to share experiences and all that to help them be better and help us be better as a team.
Controlled aggression. Because obviously, if you're too emotional, your decision making is impaired. You make silly mistakes, and yeah, everything you said is pretty much spot on. You kick off.
That controlled aggression, controlled anger is something that I read in that Tim Grover's book, Relentless. It's about how he trains. He trained like he trained MJ, trained Kobe, and all these types of things. And he was always touching on the mentality side of things. And I think that's where I got a lot of my makeup of where my mentality is. It's like an icy cool simmering under the skin anger, not anger where you're fucking frantic and screaming the house down and you're not controlling your actions and all this. It's like a stealthy stillness of I'm fucking confident in what I do and what we're doing with where we're at. I know what I need to do in order to win this game. I know how I'm going to go about delivering it, and I'm confident that we're all going to do it. And if something doesn't go right, we're strong enough and good enough to fucking deal with it and fix it. And it's that stealthiness, I think, that you need to get into that state, and that helps deliver our best performance.
Need to read that book. Relentless. Is that right?
Relentless is good. Yeah. Tim Grover, Relentless. Have a read and tell me what you think.
I will, for sure, brother. You're kicking off the World Cup against Turkey, probably the toughest opponent in the group. What's the message going into this week?
Yeah, I think it's just about staying focused staying relaxed, not getting caught up in the hype, remembering that at the end of the day, it's just another football match. What kind of goes on outside the rectangle of the football pitch, it's going to be more amplified if you're looking into it and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, tap into what is given yourself individually and then us collectively the opportunity to be here to represent our country at this stage. And it's just another football game. We've played so many before. There's nothing different in that regard. And so just fucking make sure we go out with that right mentality that fucking we can beat anyone in front of us if we do if we do everything, in the right way. And, all the outside noise and all that can come into effect once the full-time whistle has gone, and then you can embrace the rewards of having, delivered a successful game and whatnot. And then we enjoy that for one night or whatever it is, and then come again. There's another game that we need to get ready for. So that would be my approach in what I would be saying. But yeah, mainly just keeping the boys relaxed, but focused on the same time in that we've got to deliver our principles and those characteristics in order to deliver our best performance.
When you look at threats, obviously Turkey got a few of them. Who are you trying to nullify in that squad?
Yeah, I mean, they've got, every team's going to have quality throughout,
Exactly,
I don't think, of course, myself personally, you try and look at, attacking plays, so to speak, so that when, you're in goal and also the way in which a team plays, if it's a team that's searching more so, long balls in behind and that you need to be attentive to maybe come off your line, or whether it's a team that maybe combines a little bit more through the lines and tries to play passes in and around the box a little bit more to work their chances. I would say I probably more look at that collectively rather than individuals.
Yep.
But at the same time, I do look at individuals to see, for example, if it's a team that plays with two wingers and the winger on the right side of the field is a left footer that wants to come in and shoot, or vice versa on the other side, or whether they're wingers that are right-footed on the right side because they want to get up the line and cross more, and whether the profile of the striker is a big who's in the box and getting headers and these things, or whether it's a more smaller and mobile type one. Yeah, so these types of things, rather than like looking at individuals, like I kind of touched on around the respect for the opposition, you got to respect that they have the quality, but I almost kind of just put like 11 sort of figures in front of me and not naming who they are, so to speak. It's just 11 figures. We've done the work. We know how to, defensively thwart them, and offensively, we know what we have to do to play around them to create opportunities to score and ultimately beat them. So I think for me, at least, that's the approach that I take.
You obviously said that we've got a young squad. I think it's mixed with a bit of experience as well. We've got that good balance. Who would you like to see really light up this tournament within the Socceroos squad?
To be honest, anyone. If anyone is lighting up the tournament, that means we're doing good things, So I don't discriminate on who it will be. Hopefully, there's more than one. The more, the merrier in that regard. So,
100%.
mate, honestly, I couldn't care less as to who it is. I just hope that we've got plenty of them, and I'm sure if that is the case, that means we're doing plenty of right things on the pitch, and hopefully that they're resulting in good results.
Obviously, Cristian Volpato is, he's pretty well renowned now here in Australia. He obviously switched from his allegiance with Italy, now pledged his allegiance to the Socceroos. Listen, I'm happy. Like, I'd take him with both hands if it was me. But there's obviously a small portion of the media or, of the fans where are a bit against what he did. What's your take on it? Like, what's his reception been within the squad?
In these scenarios, like, I don't really have an opinion, because all of us, we make our assumptions, and assumptions is what they are, because we don't know the exact details of what this boy went through, what his decisions were, why he made those decisions. On the other hand, as well, we've had it the other way, where guys could have played for other countries and they've changed and come to us. So it works both ways at the end of the day. And at the same time, if he made those decisions based on whatever he was doing at that time, like, I know I've made plenty of mistakes when I was young as well, and I think differently when I was younger to how I think now and all this. And so, people make decisions for what they feel is best at the time, and you're constantly adapting and all those types of things. So I trust obviously the coaching staff in here and the selectors, that they're not going to bring anyone in here that's going to obviously be an issue or be against any, the environment that we have in here. And so if he's been selected to come in here, I'm always willing to obviously welcome them with open arms. And of course, if then, I don't think it's ever happened in my time in here, if there's someone that ever goes against, like, presently being in here and goes against all that we're about in here, then I don't think it would even be me. Like, the coaching staff would obviously make it known and send him home or whatever it is. So that's my stance on the whole thing. Obviously, everyone is entitled to their opinion, of course, but yeah, he's here now. He's in the squad, and hopefully he can make a difference for us.
100%, brother. You were once his age, a long time ago. A long time ago, should I say? A long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, seeing these guys, some of them born in 2007, 2000. I'm a 92, and it's like I could be their dad, if I started real young. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, some guys, I think I was in a lift the other day, and also almost the combined age between the two guys, I was almost older than them still. So it's a reality check, I tell you.
Bro, do you see the end? Like, could this be your last World Cup? Like, I don't want to say it. I hate to utter the words, but like, we have to be real. Like, do you see this as your last World Cup, or could you see yourself go on again?
No, I definitely see myself going on, maybe even for two more.
I love that.
I also don't really live my life thinking too far. Other books I've read, and just, I guess, wisdom and all that people have associated with and all that, I think people can get caught up too much living in the future that they forget to live the now and appreciate the now.
Staying present, right? Staying present. Just enjoy it.
Exactly. And, as long as I'm feeling well enough, physically, emotionally, mentally, all these types of things, I'm going to keep going and doing the thing that I love, and there's no date on it. You see, I think with obviously modern medicine and, well-being stuff and recovery and training and management, all these technology, all these things, I think players' careers are only going longer and longer as well, So, mate, I'm just going to keep playing and enjoying for as long as I can and trying to contribute to the team that I'm representing. And I guess we'll see how it goes. Do my best every day and see where it takes me.
Brother, I could be chatting all day. I do
Yeah, I've got to
have
go, man.
on
It's 12:53, so I've got lunch in 7 minutes, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't be late.
I've got breakfast in 10 minutes. But listen, I just want to warn you and prepare you for what you're going to come up against when you verse the USA team, because their fans are brutal. They're ruthless. They're probably the most intimidating fans in the world. So this is what you're going to be facing.
We support the US, US, US. That's the way we like it. We like it. We love
Brutal indeed, man. Brutal indeed. Brutal to listen to.
Hey, you got
Um,
no idea how many times I've watched that, and I'm crying.
yeah,
Listen. I
I'm
credit the
sure
fans.
you cringe, don't
Yeah.
you?
That's
But,
fucking hilarious. All right, my last one for you before I let you go to your lunch break. Obviously, playing in England, where did you find most enjoyment? Arsenal or Brighton? That's a tough one. I know. I threw a tough one
that
at
is
you.
a tough one. I mean, growing up an Arsenal supporter and all that, man, like to play for the club you grew up supporting as a kid is, I mean, it's out of this world, you know. Like I remember having signed there, and I sat down in the chair, and they gave me an Arsenal jacket to put on, you know, to do the interview. And I remember sitting there like this, like I was like, you know, like pinch yourself moment. Like it sounds cliche, but I'm like
I remember that
something.
photo. I remember that photo. You holding up
Yeah,
the Arsenal jersey. I'll never forget it as well. I think you were in a.
yeah.
Were you in a black fleece?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
the black. It's a
yeah.
black Phillies. But yeah, just sitting there and like looking at it, it was like it's hard to explain what it was, but I felt like I was kind of floating in the air, and it wasn't real, you know, and all this, and so I mean, obviously, I had my most successful playing period there in Brighton, playing each week, and I've got very fond memories, and I love being there as well, you know. But I don't know, you know, playing for your childhood club and played 3 games there, Premier League games as well, and yeah, mixing it with the best of the best. It was a cool experience, man.
Oh, bro, you're an inspiration to so many Aussies, man. 100%. And I appreciate you coming on, my man. Good luck. Is there any
Yes.
messages you want to send to the fans?
No, I mean, like some of the best memories from the previous World Cups, you know, when you walk off the pitch and we've had a successful result, and obviously, you know, on cloud nine and all these types of things, you see then the responses over social media at these live sites and all this type of thing, you know, and you know, you see the reaction to goals being scored and final whistles being blown and all these types of things, and it honestly makes the victory in those moments extra special, you know, and so yeah, we appreciate obviously the support from everyone back home. You know, our objective is to make it, you know, all Australians proud, and yeah, we appreciate all the support, and we hope you're able to dedicate some time to getting behind us, and we hope to make you all proud.
Well, brother, I'll be over there. I'll be going to all 3 games. Hopefully, catch up with you. I know you guys are in like lockdown in camp, and you know you're dialed in, but you got so much support here back home, bro. Everyone's really cheering for you. So, brother, I'll see you soon, eh? Good luck.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the support, my man. Speak to you soon. See
Speak
you
soon,
soon over
brother.
here.
See you,
Take care,
brother.
brother. Cheers.